All right, good afternoon, guys. Good week of practice for our guys. We're ready to rock and excited to get an opportunity. Another divisional game. Really good football team. It's going to be. We need to play well to go win this game. And I know we've had the practice week to do it. Now we've got to go put that into action. We'll have two players with game status designations for the game. Jonathan Grenard will be questionable. Got in a limited day today, and then Ryan Kelly will also have that questionable tag, more of a procedural thing, but he will also have that tag for now. And then nobody else will go in with a designation. So we're, feels good to have that group of five as a potential option at the offensive line position. Want to see how Ryan finishes out the week here, and we'll keep you guys posted on his availability for the game.
Kevin, when you talked about Jeff Hafley showing a lot of different stuff that maybe after the snap doesn't look the same, is that something that you've seen increase over the years of teams maybe presenting certain coverages and then changing post-snap, and what types of challenges does that provide for the quarterback?
Yeah, I think, I do think things kind of come and go in waves, but what it does seem like over the last few years is just disguise is at a premium, trying to, either bait you as a coach, as a play caller, or a quarterback into thinking it's one thing and then make you play against something totally different, as the post snap plays out. I think the way the NFL has gone with some of the offenses applying no huddle principles to what they do, that kind of cat and mouse game of making sure you're not, writing a memo of what you're in defensively, so that some coaches may see that and get to calls accordingly. But yeah, I think for a few years, going back a few years, there was the cover three teams, that Seattle cover three, where they didn't really care that you knew what they were in. They were going to play their defense and apply some things off of it, but one man, one gap, and just standard defense. There's still some teams operating like that, but you see a lot more of those teams even having the change-up calls to protect their base way of doing things, and then where does man-to-man fit in, and how do you potentially disguise that as well. So, but I think every week it feels like we are making sure our guys understand offensively that the picture may change depending on what the flavor of the week is for us, and we've got to be able to react accordingly and have a system built where you're not necessarily tied into decision-making based upon coverages as much as principles of progressions that allow the quarterback to read with his feet.
Kevin, in these situations where you had a couple games go the wrong way, and what's the sort of key to keeping guys in the locker room and everybody in the organization all kind of moving in the direction you want them to?
Yeah, I think, the key starts, you better not be worrying about that for the first time when it actually happens. I think that's the one thing about our place is we build it the way we do, just so we obviously will persevere and continue to work and be made of the principles that results are certainly when you can win 8 in a row like we did at a point last year, or you can win 13 or 14 in the season. It's much easier to be banging the drum about culture than actually see it put to work and see the fruits of all those things that our players have built here, which happens when you've lost more than you've won, and you're continuing to attack it. I still feel unbelievable energy from our team, a positivity of attacking each week, and knowing we're very fortunate to have the opportunity to go compete, and those are things that our players manifest and push right alongside myself. But my message is simple and kind of going back on all the things built up long before these moments come, positive or the alternative of that.
You have your starting offensive line together if Ryan.
Yeah, just watching the reps of that in practice with those five guys out there. Ryan's veteran nature at the center spot with Donovan and Will next to him, and then seeing those two tackles, it was a very, very good sight to see for me, and I think for our whole group, our whole team, seeing those guys, coming up on Thanksgiving here next week, and we'll see it for the first time. So not necessarily how we maybe envisioned it, but certainly very, very excited to potentially have the opportunity to have those guys out there together.
those disguises that you see on defense more these days. I'm curious, does that make pre-snap motioning a little less effective than at trying to decipher?
Well, if anything, maybe it can be used as a tool to because no matter what the disguise may be, whatever the final coverage is, has to be respected with some of the pre-snap motions, either the different paces of motions. Some teams play full speed motion, jet motion differently than they do just regular cross the ball motion. Is it changing the passing strength? Is it just changing the strength of the formation for the potential run fits? All those things need to be, regardless of what your disguise may be. It's a great question because it's something that I think can really test the just how far people are willing to go to disguise. I know Flo and his group, they'll match it no matter what the motions are, and no matter what they're trying to show, they then have the plan to try to disguise it through multiple motions, a motion here and then maybe the back shifting, and ultimately just then at any point in time the best defenses in this league can alter their call and get to a different call if they feel it necessary, whether that's a player like Harrison Smith for us, getting us into a different call, or the other teams with their green dot. Once that communication's gone behind, underneath 15, those who know kind of know, and it's on what those 22 guys out on the field, which is a fun part of our game, and the back and forth every week.
What stands out just about the way JJ is attacked this week?
Yeah, I mean, he's really attacked it like he's attacked every opportunity all year long. Every practice week we've had, it's game plan. It's the comfort with that. But obviously, there's a major emphasis right now on during and post practice of just continuing to hammer home the techniques and the fundamentals. And he's had some great examples of it throughout the week. Threw the ball really well, and now for him, it's can you carry that over to a tough road divisional opponent with a great defense, great pass rush, and circumstances that might be easy for you to fall back into some habits that have proven to be things that we're working through, or can you take the preparation to the game and let's see some examples of it. And I think if he does that, I think he'll have a really positive day, and that's what we're looking for.
Kevin, after Justin makes that block on Jordan's touchdown, and he turns, was he flexing over at you?
No, I don't think so.
Celebratory.
I wish he was, because maybe I would have flexed back at him, but no, it's I got some texts from some coaches around the league about that play. Not only Justin, but JP, his ball security and finishing through the goal line with two hands on it, and strain and finish of the O-line, and just kind of coach to coach, like, man, your team's really playing hard, and it's totally what we'd expect from a team that you're coaching. And so that always is great when you see when it's getting noticed by people that aren't on our schedule, people that aren't watching our tape for any other reason than things like that stick out to them. And like I said earlier this week, encourage you guys to take a look at it. Glad you did, just because it's as impactful of a play that he didn't catch the ball as I think he's had in his career. When you're really thinking about his job on the play, he did that and then some, and just strain and the importance to him to do that despite not necessarily having it go our way on offense that day.
Evan, how did JJ and Ryan look getting back into the rhythm of their exchanges and just communication?
Ryan is, his veteran presence goes beyond just above the neck. It seems like every shotgun snap is right on the money. The pace, his comfort for the quarterback is something that you feel from the first snap. He's back in there. Just his overall awareness, control, poise at the line of scrimmage, and there just seems to be a steadiness. And that's not taken away from anybody else, but that's a guy that's played for a really long time at that position, and he's basically seen everything there is to see. And I think it's going to be huge for us to potentially have the chance to have him back.
Kevin, Justin was talking about kind of helping JJ through criticism, things like that. Is it any different for you to have a quarterback of his age and generation? It's got to be different, I would think, than coaching Kirk or something like that, just in terms of your message?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you're talking about a guy that is obviously the much younger and doesn't have the NFL experience as some of those other players. But also, I do think we're in a pretty unique time right now where, I once played for a team my first year in the NFL where one of the big things on the wall every single day you saw it was ignore the noise. And, that was, a long time before some of the different outlets and social media platforms that are, phenomenal ways for us to connect with our fans. But at certain times it can become a detriment. So I think the younger player of today who maybe has been used to, their whole lives that being very positive, when it goes a certain way and maybe the noise tends to go a certain way. That's why I've carried that from not only that team to every team I've ever been a part of as a major point of emphasis. And I think the younger players of today have to learn that. But I think Justin has been a really good resource for him, just as a guy who can really connect with both sides of that, from knowing my dialogue with JJ and the relationship that I have with both players, which is something I really, really enjoy, but also Justin's locker room dynamic, locker right next to him, the on-the-field football dynamic. But then that other layer of it, I think, is massive for JJ, and it comes from a lot of players in our. You think about Brian O'Neill, you think about some of our Aaron Jones, you think about some of our defensive leadership that have been through a lot, seen a lot, especially in our building.
Talking about defensive leadership, what have you seen from Jonathan Allen this season? What do you appreciate from him?
Yeah, I think he's he's so consistent every single day. His work, his preparation, his presence in the building, both him and Grave have been, I think, a big part of why Jalen Redmond has exploded on the scene as well. Just the examples of two guys that have done it at such a high level in the league for a long time, and then what those guys mean to the room, and Marcus coaching those guys as a former D lineman in the NFL. I think there's a really good foundation in there, led by Jay and Grave with some really good young players. But on the field, he really seems to be really finding his stride of exactly kind of what his role is, snap to snap, and how to be the best version of himself in our defense. And we've seen some real positive stretches here from J.A., and he's only getting better and better.